to music first, always.
We are unstoppable.
Open the frontiers to make people meet people.
Music is not fireworks. Music is feeling.
You're good to go.
Thank you, vote for the music!
This is Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast. I'm Benjamin and
And I'm Tadeusz.
Now today we're continuing our journey through the Eurovision Song Contest 2024 as we do our Quickfire reviews. So we're looking at the second half of the first semi-final this week, and we move through that running order, continuing through to Finland today, which is the song No Rules by Windows95man. Let's have a listen to that.
The national selection, Udem Music in Tipailu, ended up with a winner as unexpected as it is unwelcome by much of the community. That being No Rules by Windows95man, a band with very complicated history involving helping career and other stuff that I'm not willing to explain, just Google it. With this song, what you see is what you get. The staging is an absolute insanity, meant to reflect the titular theme of No Rules and capture the audience's attention.
Well, yes, the staging is probably as balmy as you possibly can imagine. It includes the singer coming out of a giant opening egg with dry ice and smoke coming out of it. It includes Windows95man with no trousers or underwear. I mean, there are flesh-coloured underwear, but it's meant to look like he's entirely naked from the waist down, avoiding being seen in that area by obscuring objects and audience members, etc., etc., and then eventually getting a pair of jean shorts, which were very popular back in the 90s, and then using pyrotechnics out of them. I mean, it's utterly bizarre, but that's absolutely what I believe the Finnish delegation were going for, so on that point it gets top marks.
Meanwhile, the actual composition is very simplistic and repetitive, without getting boring, thus making it very easy to both listen and repeat.
Well, yes, I mean, it's written and composed and produced as a 90s Eurodance song. That's absolutely what they're going for. That's the sound they've got, especially in the chorus. The general sort of writing melody in there is absolutely what you would have heard from a Eurodance song in the 1990s. That's what they're going for, and I think it pulls it off quite successfully. Now, it's not the best Eurodance song in the world, but it's certainly not bad. It's certainly to the quality of a lot that you did hear, but then it has the extra sort of comical element on top of that, where it's slightly taking a mick, but also very knowingly with the whole no rules aspect of it. And then, of course, the staging and presentation of that. But the actual general main hook and melody on that chorus is very typical and not actually that subversive, just quite a nice 90s throwback.
It's a typical corny crowd pleaser, devoid of attempts at trying to serve as high art of sorts. The production, however, is top-notch, to make sure this experience doesn't get spoiled. With that all being the case, the reception of this song is left entirely up to the listener. What will you make of it? Will you hate it with passion, or will you enjoy this simple pleasure? Are you amused or are you offended? Personally, I am amused. I don't mind some loose fun from time to time, and music in general is not as deep as it would like to see itself as.
Well, I mean, I think I have a more negative view of this song than you actually, but I am personally quite amused by it. It doesn't offend me. I don't hate it. I just don't think it's very good. But for what it is, I think it's a nice bit of Eurovision fun, and I happily sit through it and enjoy it. I'm just not necessarily going to give it the highest marks in the world, but does that really matter? It is there just for a bit of fun. You know, for me, it's comparable to something like Scoochers flying the flag or Wolves of the Sea, Pirates of the Sea. That kind of sort of, it's there is a lot of fun. It's not necessarily the most competitive in the world or gonna get the best result or do all the things that the delegation perhaps wants it to do, but for what it is a very enjoyable experience.
My judgment of No Rules is a thumbs up.
I mean, technically I'd say it's a thumbs up, but not the most enthusiastic thumbs up in the world from me. I'd say it's sort of a tentative, yeah, I'll give that kind of a thumbs up. So I like it, I don't love it, I don't hate it. It's just there for me. As I say, it's a bit of fun.
As for its qualification chances, it qualifies. End of discussion. This song is made to appeal to the televote, and it's the televote that will make the finalist.
Oh, I agree. In this semi-final, especially in this half of this semi-final, there's no way it doesn't qualify. It's absolutely going through to the final. In the second semi-final, I think it could struggle. Against a big televote favourite, like the Netherlands for example, this could look quite silly and quite dated in comparison, which could really harm its chances, but it's not against the Netherlands at all in the semi-finals, because that's in the other semi-final. So I think Finland have a huge advantage being in semi-final 1 here, because it will absolutely storm the televote. Not necessarily win it, but will be very high in that televote, because there's really not much for it to compete against that's going for the same sort of vote. When it does get to the final, however, I think it will be in trouble, because it will be against the sort of songs that are competing for a very similar vote there, and also there'll be a general higher quality as well. And I do believe this probably will end up in the bottom 10 somewhere, perhaps even the bottom 5. I would not rule it out, because I think its chances of getting to the final are incredibly likely, and I do think we will be seeing Finland, No Rules, Windows95man there on the 11th of May. So thank you for listening to our quick-fire review there of Finland's entry for this year's Eurovision Song Contest in Malmö. Tomorrow we'll be moving on to the next song in the running order, which is Moldova's entry, as they bring us our second of our 2 returning artists for the contest this year. Until then, follow us on whatever streaming platform you're listening to us on, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, or even YouTube. If so, you can subscribe, you can follow, you can leave a comment, you can interact with our Q&As and polls, you can email us, contact@voteforthemusic.co.uk, or however else you'd like to interact with us. But until then, thank you for listening, and remember to vote for the music.
This is to music first, always.
We are unstoppable.
Open the frontiers to make people meet people.
Music is not fireworks. Music is feeling.
You're good to go.
Thank you, vote for the music!
This is Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast.